that leads us to our second Super Six question of the week, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. And the question is, which receiver, which player will have the most receiving yards this week? We're talking about A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Shakir, and Travis Kelce. And do we think the answer is McLaurin here? Do we think maybe Kelce gets a little bit too much attention this year, and just because maybe we expect Washington to be behind Sammy, that McLaurin might be the guy? You mentioned that he was very priced appropriately in the market.
3-2 McLaurin, so plus 150. That's not something that I necessarily love. I looked at Shakir. They got Shakir at 6-1. Everything receiver-wise goes through him. I mean, I'm looking at Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper props, and they're just so embarrassingly low. But that's because Buffalo goes through the back, the quarterback, the tight ends, and Shakir. Like, that's it. Amari Cooper's catch prop is insanely low. So if you're looking for a flyer, maybe Shakir. And here's the other thing. If you want to take a stance, because nobody is saying Jaylen Herz is healthy, and nobody's saying they're going to throw the ball. But if they do, Devontae Smith is 16-1. A.J. Brown is 35-1. I'm not saying bet them, but everybody is singing the same song on the Eagles. They're not going to pass. They can't pass. If they do, though, against a Commanders D that you can pass on, maybe one of those guys is worth a look.
I'm waiting for Jeff to get some good inside information here. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it, Bear. I'm trying. I don't know if they're going to give me information on Jaylen Herz. I mean, look, his under rushing is juicy, but like maybe he's fine, you know? I mean, outside that one long carry he had, you know, that really didn't do as much running, right, last week, especially once he got a little beat up. I mean, I think they would rather prefer not to have him run the football, but it's such an important part of the offense that, and those guys, the quarterback numbers are so high in the postseason because these critical moments, you don't have defenders to basically eye a quarterback in the run game. It's like impossible. You can scheme that up, obviously, but that's one less defender in the pass game. It's just hard to defend the quarterback run. It's why we saw it a ton in the national championship game on Monday night. We've seen it with Jayden Daniels and Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. You know, big 3rd and 2 in big moment. The Bills are running Josh Allen like a quarterback run. Like that's what they do because it's just hard to defend. You have an extra blocker in the running back, and so it makes a lot of sense why these teams do it. And with Hurts being beat up, does that change the Eagles' offense? Does it change what they want to do? Do they RPO more with the pass instead of the run with Hurts? So I'm kind of curious how they game plan around an injury.
I'm sorry if I laughed on the air there, but you get the notifications on your laptop, and I just got a notification text from a buddy of mine. It literally just says, "Wait, the Cowboys are hiring Brian Schottenheimer." Yes. WTF?
Yes,
so,
that's what it.
Yeah, I think that's probably all of our sentiments on that.
Yeah, the goal when you fire someone is to hire someone better. I don't think fire McCarthy, whatever they call what they did to him. I mean, I was hoping for Dion. That would have been fun to cover. But selfishly, that would have been a lot of fun to cover.
I don't get it, but it's why the Dallas Cowboys are one of the more embarrassing organizations in pro football right now. Anyway, there's some other interesting markets that are out there. And when I did the Megapod with Will and Gil Alexander and Todd Wishnev yesterday or Wednesday, whenever it was that we recorded it, they were talking about like the Super Bowl MVP. I think Gil brought it up in passing, like not expecting anybody to have bet it, but these Super Bowl MVP prop futures that you can bet, they're up at DraftKings. And I think the question was basically something like, if is Mahomes going to be the MVP if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? And there was a reaction that no, it could be someone else. But I think if the Commanders win or the Bills win, I think we all pretty much assume that it'll be one of the quarterbacks. But I did actually make a couple of plays on these things Wednesday afternoon on some Super Bowl MVP futures. I actually did bet Xavier Worthy at 70-1 because I think maybe if he does get a little bit more involved in the offense and get some big plays, if he plays the Commanders, he certainly could score a bunch of points there. Maybe the Eagles secondary is wrapped up or injured for sure. Gets a big play. I played Zach Bond at 100-1. I played Jalen Carter 100-1 from that Eagles defense, thinking that it's there. If they win the Super Bowl, they're either going to shut down the Chiefs offense or shut down the Bills offense and not allow Allen and Mahomes to take advantage. And maybe it's not Barkley, and maybe they don't have big games offensively. So we got that. And then I played Chris Jones for the same reason, 60-1 for Kansas City, just thinking that he will have a big impact on the quarterback. So did any of you guys look at some of these things just to get ahead and maybe take a stab at a lottery type ticket?
I didn't. I have such a hard time with anyone. Like if it's the Chiefs, man, Mahomes, he's going to have to like not play a part of the game to not get the award. I think back to that first Super Bowl versus the 49ers when Damian Williams, I think it was, who scored 3 touchdowns. Well, obviously they're going to give it to the guy who scored 3 touchdowns. Nope, it was Mahomes. I know James White, same thing in in the Patriots Falcons Super Bowl, scored 3 touchdowns. Did he get it? No, it went to Brady. There's such a built-in bias towards giving it to the quarterback that, hey, when you're talking to the prices you're getting 70-1, 100-1, I'm not going to say, hey, don't bet something at triple digit odds. It's a lottery ticket. It's a fun one, and there's some logic to what you're saying. It's just, man, it is really hard with Allen, Mahomes, and Daniels. It's hard to see past the quarterback. Now, if it's Philly, hey, could you see a defensive player? Could you see Barkley? Could you see Goddard or one of the receivers? Philly, if you think Philly's going to win, sure, you could talk me into one of these guys. That's the avenue I go down. Maybe you think, hey, A.J. Brown with 2 weeks off can get healthier. You can get a real long shot number. Other than that, Sammy, man, it's just it's quarterback or nothing. It's so many times for these MVPs.
I hear James White, and I just have night terrors.
You had it?
About that. Yeah, we had 125-1.
Oh.
He scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime. It was his
had 3, right?
Third touchdown of the game.
Jeez.
And
Brady threw a pick 6 in that game. Not to put salt in the wound.
No, it's fine. I hear that name and I go, I was just like, I hear that name and it just brings back bad memories. Bear, we bet Carter 650-1 before the playoffs. If that hits, I'll throw a party. Yeah, we'll throw a lobster party if Jalen Carter wins.
Are we going to get an invite?
You'll be invited. Yeah, of course.
Beautiful.
Of course you will.
What does Jalen Carter have to do, Sammy, to win Super Bowl MVP? Like, what is the stat line for Jalen Carter?
Score on defense, couple of forced fumbles.
Yeah, forced fumble, 2 sacks, something like that.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.